Joining us now is Patrick Klassen, and we're going to be talking about Besser rooms and immersive technology. Hello, and how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
So
And yourself?
Good. We met a few years ago, and I walked into a room that was this immersive environment of fish. And that was the first day that I met you. And I was so impressed. That was an installation for the ACLD, right? But this is
Correct.
your idea and your technology, a way to help people, whether it's somebody that has memory loss or someone that has special needs, right? What is a Besser room? What is it?
A Besser room is an environment that's an oasis, really, for individuals with special needs, that they can immerse themselves and have a nice, safe environment that caters to each individual and their, whatever needs they have.
Now you grew up, I think, are you the youngest of 6 kids? Somewhere in there.
I'm in the middle.
You're in the middle.
Yes.
Okay. So you grew up in a family where there was a lot of cool things happening, and you had siblings, and it was like this great journey. You had wonderful parents, right? So you grew up as somebody that wanted to make a difference in the community.
That is correct.
So after you learned all about computers and things like that, what was the first moment that you said to yourself, what if? What if we did this? And then you started building. I think you built a Safari from scratch, right? Bone by bone?
Yes.
Okay.
I built the Safari from scratch.
Okay. What was that moment like when you had this aha moment?
So I was privileged enough to be invited to CTC, that's Celebrate the Children. It's a school for special needs. When I entered the facility, I saw a room that had a mural on it with a swing in the center. So right then and there, I thought, you know what? I can have any environment that I want in any room. And that's where it all began.
To give them that experience.
Yes.
As if how they would feel like when they were on a swing, or if they were in the middle of the ocean, and it's educational. One of your environments on a Besser room is that you can actually press the pedal on a prop, and it makes you feel like you're actually driving a car.
Yes, we do have a driving simulator.
Okay.
And we could drive through a safari, through neighborhoods, anywhere in the world, actually.
Space.
Yes.
Space.
We do have boats, so you could drive a boat.
Okay.
In a lake, a river, Venice.
Lovely. One of the things, too, is that I know that not just for people that have special needs, but also for our elderly, for the aging population, right? With memory loss, you have one Besser room that's at a location, and they notice that because you're piping in certain music, the nostalgia is helping them feel more social again.
Absolutely.
So behavior.
Yeah. So we try
change.
to bring them back to their memories. We try to bring their memories back to them through the Besser room, whether it's sight, sound, or smell. We try to incorporate that all into our software.
And on the job training, you're also using the same technology, correct, for some job sites?
Yes, vocational therapy, occupational therapy. We have training facility that will train the individual to go out and get certain skilled jobs.
And it's all done right in the comfort of this immersive experience, this immersive room. So wonderful. We recently got a chance to work together with our Besser room here, and there were population with special needs. They came in and they did an entire, I don't want to get choked up, I'm going to cry already. For 6 weeks, they were working in the immersive room, and they wrote their own Christmas holiday movie.
Yes.
We had all the backdrops for them. They were able to act in their own movie. We recorded it, and then we showed it on the 12 by 29 foot screen. It was the most incredible moment that I've witnessed.
Yes. And it was probably my most proudest moment, just seeing the results that came out and how talented that they all are.
So funny.
It's amazing.
Their writing was hilarious. Their
Yes.
acting was on point and superb. They had costumes. They had so this Besser room can really convert to be anything that you
Yes,
need
we
it to
use it
be.
as a virtual production studio.
Okay.
And that's exactly what we used it for.
Okay, excellent. And we've done music videos in our Besser room. So this technology, somebody can build this. They can use it as a fundraiser for their non-for-profit organization. It's
Absolutely.
Endless.
Yes.
Wonderful. What are you most excited about in 2025, Patrick? Because there's been a lot of news coverage on this now. You've been in a lot of magazines, a lot of newspaper articles, and I know that you're not doing it for those props or those accolades, but it is kind of cool,
Yes.
right? So what's your hope for 2025?
2025, we're really going to take the education world by storm, right? We have a lot of new content in the pipeline, ready to roll out. And hopefully that we could just make a big difference in the education world, especially in special education.
So like if you want to go to Egypt, we've used, I've used the room for you like purposeful reasons for my own personal friends and things. Like, so we wanted to pretend like we were, somewhere exotic and, 4K environment all around us as we're sitting on the floor dining together, and it's fun.
It is.
Right. So there's a lot of different applications. So it's job training, it could be for education, it could be for people that have special needs. It's to provide an environment that's safe, right, and inclusive.
Yes.
And immersive.
That is right.
So glad for our friendship. Really honored that you built a Besser room here at Drake Media Studios. It's kind of like a place, so if somebody wants to see it in action, because a lot of times when you've built these rooms in other places, they need it. They're using it 24/7.
Absolutely.
So we kind of decided we're going to build like a little showroom here so that people could understand the technology to see if it might be something they want to build on their property.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Feeling good?
Yes. That is, yeah.
Today you're at the studio and,
Yes.
and we're putting in new technology right now, right? We're upgrading our own Besser room here.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was a blessing to meet you, like we did, right?
Yeah, every good friendship and every good story starts just, like one moment, just saying yes to each other, right?
Yes.
And earlier today we did interview Amy from the ACLD, and she was talking about how much that they love their original room they called their Zen room, and now you've built 2 other rooms for them.
That is correct.
It's making a huge difference. Good job, Patrick. You're a good guy. Thank you so much. And how can somebody go to your website, or how could they learn more about it?
So you can visit our website at www.besserrooms.com.
Okay. Or they could come and visit us.
Or they can come visit us.
We'll give them a tour, right?
We do a personal demonstration.
Okay.
Just fill out the contact page and
And then
we'll
come and
set
have
up an
fun.
appointment and you come and have fun.
And be amazed.
Yes,
Be
be
amazed.
amazed.
Be amazed. Thank you so much. There you go. That's my friend Patrick. So here at Drake Media Studios, it's not just this main studio that we have here that's grid lit. We have other different environments, but I have to say, my favorite is the Besser room. Come and visit us. We would love that. Thanks for watching. Up next, behind the scenes of business. Joining us now is Vincent, and we're going to be talking about National EAP. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Good. What is National EAP? What do you do, Vincent?
So National EAP stands for Employee Assistance Program. We're a nationwide short-term counseling and wellness services for employers to provide to their employees and their family members.
Beautiful. So it's a pass-through. So it's a service, like sometimes people like outsource accounting, but this is outsourced to your company and you're providing services to employees.
Correct. So we'll connect with leaders, C-suite executives, HR departments to then help their employees with issues that they may face in the workforce or at home that they bring to the workforce,
Okay.
into their workplace, and assist them and get them through them to be the best version of themselves and therefore more productive for their companies.
Wonderful. I saw some PDFs about the different programs and how it's all organized and aligned. Can you walk us through some maybe typical things that you see? Like what are some of the things that you help?
Sure. Well, we help, we do it 2 ways, right? We'll help the employee with any issues that they may be facing and or their family members, and we'll help them with short-term counseling sessions or financial assistance, legal assistance, and then we'll also help the organization with assistance from an HR perspective and assist them with any situation that may be occurring between employees or with an employee. And again, always the intention is to get that employee back to being the most productive person and most valuable part of that company and back to whom they were, because obviously they were going through something that impacted their daily routine in the office of being a impactful employee.
You know that old wives' tale where it says a stitch in time saves nine, right? Is it kind of like that?
It is.
Before something kind of unravels, EAP, National EAP is there already at the fingertips, right? To be able to help.
Yes,
Okay.
that's exactly.
What do you love best about your job?
Ooh, that's an excellent question. What I love best is that we get to help employees, their family members, and even the employer allow people to handle their situation or the issue that they may be facing, whether it be personal or in the workplace, and get back to them being the most productive person that they can be, and then for stay a part of their company, be retained. It then helps the HR department and the company in general not have to go out and have to hire, which could cost much more than it is to utilize EAP and fix. So I think that's the best thing, is that we get to help people be the best version of themselves and the most productive version as well.
And as an employer, sometimes, it's important, like you build a culture and a reputation, and there's a way that you're building your business, and you rely on the people that work for you, because you're nothing without the people that work for you, right? I'm nothing
Excellent,
without
yeah.
my team, like absolutely nothing. And if I were to lose one of them, it would really hurt my business and it would really impact me, right? So the idea is to retain that employee, to
Absolutely.
figure out what's wrong and to see if you can correct it and fix it. Right? The other thing too is when somebody's going through a hard time, the last thing they need is to be fired and lose their job. The absolute last thing they need, right? So sometimes there are outside influences that we bring into the workplace that could cost you your job, and it's just that understanding. So I guess you guys are the go-between between all that.
We certainly are.
Okay,
And I
so
definitely,
how do people onboard with you? How does it work? So let's say I'm an employee
Mm-hmm.
and I'm having an issue at a certain company, but they have a contract with National EAP. So how do I as an employee benefit? What do I do?
Sure. So we have clients that are nationwide. We're a nationwide company, although we're headquartered here on Long Island. How it would work is, being that you, the employer, are providing our services to your employees, we do a really good job as a team to get that word out to all the employees and how to access us, right?
Okay.
Which can be through a number of ways. It can be by phone, it could be by email, it can be by chat, and then that employee, in your case it would be you'd be reaching out to us. Our clinician team is absolutely outstanding. They would do an intake. From that intake, we would then see what your needs are, and based on that intake, then recommend the best course of action for what the situation is that needs to be handled and how we would go about that. And what I love about us, again, you asked before, what makes me want to come to work, and is that our company is very compassionate, empathetic. I work with a phenomenal group of warm and people that really want to give back and do good to help others be the best version of themselves. And for me, in my respective role, it's about being able to create and customize exactly what's going to work for that employer to provide what's best for their employees and their families. I don't want to miss that part, is that we not only help the employees, it's extended to everybody within that employee's household.
Without naming names, can you think of a success story? Like what the situation was, what your objective was, the action that you took, and then the result?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean, we get a lot of employees that give us great referrals. We don't obviously utilize their names or the company's name, but I think the greatest story that we get is when we provide our utilization reports, which we provide to every company at the beginning of each quarter, is we also get survey feedback from their employees on how we've impacted and how we've helped them. I think the best one for me is when they've gone through a situation and there was something that, again, they brought from home that was impacting their work and got them back on track, and to hear how our clinician team was very compassionate and warm and helped them to really get back on track to be the best version, the most productive version of themselves, so they can keep their job and not have to worry about that, in addition to worrying about the situation or what was occurring in their life personally, mental health wise, et cetera, that's affecting them on a day in and day out basis in the workplace.
So it's an HR benefit that certain employers are able to offer to their employees.
Yes.
And do you have a sliding scale? So if you have a small company and you only have 10 employees, right, compared to 7,000 or 70 or 90,000 employees, right? Is it based upon that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So even if you're somewhat of a small company, you could still work with your company.
We are able to work with companies of any size, whether it be a for-profit or not-for-profit. Again, we're nationwide. We've actually onboarded some companies in late 2024 that have a small footprint in the United States and a larger footprint in Europe and other countries around the world.
Okay.
So with that, how we base it on is, it is based on the number of employees you have. We've worked with companies as small as 2 employees to as many employees as 10,000 employees.
Okay.
So how the scale would work is it really based on the number of employees you have, and then we would scale it based on the customized program that we would put together in a consultation meeting that we would do virtually or in person, depending on how the conversation went through the process.
So it's part of your employee benefits program, which is lovely, and it's putting people first. That's
Yes.
what it's really about, right?
Yes.
Not profits first, people first.
Correct.
Makes sense to me. I thank you for being here. You're also part of a group that I'm part of, which is the Long Island Philanthropy Network.
Yes.
Right? How does that work? What is your involvement with them?
So our involvement as a company is to have our employees, their family members, their friends, give back to the Long Island community and be able to connect with a number of different not-for-profit organizations, helping with community service events that take place in the work time during the day or in the evening. We've had a great relationship. We've been one of the early members to be a part of Philanthropy Network New York. We're looking forward to what 2025 has to offer. There's an event upcoming in January that we'll be a part of with the book fairies. And then we look forward to what's planned for the rest of the calendar year, and we plan to be a part of every single one of those.
Super fun. Even here in this exact same television studio, they packed 1,000 bags for
Yes.
children that were in the hospital during the holidays.
Yes.
For St. Nick's, and that was all done through that group.
Yes.
Wonderful. They had like a hot cocoa bar here. It was like a lot of fun. Different business owners came, and they were just packing bags.
Yep.
It
And
was
we
lovely.
were here, and we had a great experience, and we thank you for hosting us and hosting the event.
Not about me, but thank you for shining the light on me. It was really, really cool, and one of the nicest things that I did as a company during the holidays. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Make a difference in your community. Put your people first if you're a business owner. I try every day to put them first because without them, I'm nothing. And happy journeys to you. Be well. Lights, camera, action. Let's roll. Joining us now is Dylan Skolnick. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for having me.
You were one of my first friends that I met when I first moved from St. Louis to Long Island, and I lived on 38 Turtle Cove Lane, right up from your cinema, right down the street from your cinema. Dylan, I cannot tell you how important you are in my personal journey, and I wanted to have you on the show because I wanted to personally thank you in front of the entire world. But no, I wanted to tell you thank you. You're just an amazing human, and you've done so much. No, seriously, you've done so much for so many people at the Cinema Arts Center and just beyond that. So thank you for that. Just thank you for being you. Now, what your job is, right, besides all your gloriness, is for 52 years, your family started an independent theater, movie theater.
Yes, it's the Cinema Arts Center in Huntington, and we're entering our 52nd year showing the widest range of movies and bringing the community in to see them. Now,
is it true that that you started with just a sheet hanging up on a wall?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
that was the idea.
So tell us about day one. I want to know about that, about the history of the Cinema Arts Center.
All right, we'll try to give you the capsule version, but
Sure.
You know, my parents, they came out from the city, and you have to remember there was no movies. There was just there was no cable, no internet, no, all these things, no home video, no DVDs or VHS. So they wanted to see movies. They were used to going to the movies, so they started this. They borrowed a projector and a film from the library and put up a bed sheet that they had in the house and made up little flyers and took off from there.
That was day one. One of the things I want to ask you about this year is what were some of the big movies this year, in your opinion? Like the big, maybe 5.
Oh, well, A Complete Unknown is happening right now. That's been a really big hit. People have been loving it. Conclave was one that was a smash hit for us. People just were blown away and really gripped. Coming up soon, we'll see if it's gonna. But The Brutalist
Oh, yeah.
which just won a Golden Globe for best film, is coming up in just a few weeks, on January 24th.
Okay, so that's 3. What else?
Also, A Real Pain. That was a real, another film that really delighted our audiences. And coming up soon, The Nickel Boys is a
Okay.
fantastic movie based on the novel by Colson Whitehead. So a lot of great stuff this year.
Now, your education, you know so much about films, right? And I also think you became a very worldly person because of the fact that you showcase a lot of independent foreign language films at your theater still, right? If somebody comes up with it's not just you're not only showing like the mainstream films, you also show a genre that a lot of other indie movie houses may show, but that some of the other, I guess you would call it cookie cutter movie theaters do not show. You show things that people sometimes can't see anywhere else.
Oh, absolutely. We really try to show the widest variety of films, and part of that is showing new movies from around the world. It's just an amazing way for people to kind of connect with the rest of our planet.
I remember years ago you taking me up to the projector room. Do you still have that, the real projector?
We do. We do
Okay.
still. Most of the films, like all the theaters in America and the world, are digital, but we still have our film projectors, and we still use them for special programs because there's a difference. There's a difference in how it looks and how it feels.
How can people best support your organization, or any independent film houses from coast to coast? What can the community do?
Well, first of all, come out and see movies, and try to be adventurous, hopefully, and try some different movies like the ones we show. And we also, if you really have a great time, we have membership and other ways, and people can make donations. We're a not-for-profit organization. We really depend on the community. So if you really have a great time, we hope there are deeper levels you can get involved in. But the first step is just come on out and see some movies.
I researched why popcorn is a popular snack in movie theaters. Do you know the reason?
What's the reason?
Okay, during the Great Depression, because it was inexpensive to make. And that's what would happen. So it just became like this, it goes together, and that's how it started. I always wonder these questions, and I'll be like, wait, and then I'll just take my phone out, and I should type it in like we used to do, or research it at the library, but not anymore. Now we just ask our phone. So I want to know, why is popcorn a favorite snack at the movie theater? But your popcorn is absolutely delicious. You have a beautiful cafe there, so there's nice snacks and things of that nature. If somebody wanted to start an independent movie house anywhere from coast to coast, would you take their call and would you help them?
Oh, absolutely. I've done that already. We helped cinemas far away and nearby. We have there's we call sister organizations, and
Okay.
there's a great cinema in Patchogue, the Plaza Media Arts Center. There's the Sag Harbor Cinema. We were, talk to them. We're always trying to help. We're part of a bigger community of cinemas all across the country, and we all help each other.
You're lovely. I also know the archives that you have there, which are fabulous. You're an archivist. You have a lot of old movie posters and all types of good things there. So Dylan, thank you so much. And there was a time in my life that, I needed a job and you let me sell tickets at your movie theater. I'm just I'm just putting it out there. And I thank you for that opportunity, right? And I was too embarrassed to say that I was on hard times. And so I told people that I was doing research or whatever, but you were so kind to me. And I just really appreciate that. Oh. May we never on this journey grow so big or, so famous or so wealthy that we don't always remember our roots, right? And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. It made a huge difference in my journey, Dylan. So, and I know I'm not the only person that you've helped along the way. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Dylan Skolnick, top human of the universe. And thanks for watching. Our next guest helps people regain hope. Joining us now is Dr. Jeffrey Reynolds with FCA. Dr. Jeffrey, what do those initials stand for?
Family and Children's Association. We've been around for 140 years.
Wow.
I think a well-kept secret.
Okay.
But we touch more than 30,000 lives a year. So there's lots of folks who know about us. And I'm just very thankful for the opportunity to come on today and talk a little bit more about what we're doing.
140 years, that's wonderful. How long have you been there?
10 years, although
Okay.
it feels like 140 years. And like minutes all at the same time, if that makes sense.
When something as important as this organization is in your hands, at the helm, what is most important to you?
That I carry the organization through its next phase of leadership on Long Island. 140 years means that there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into this organization. We were the only organization during COVID that could say it's not our first pandemic. Because
Wow.
the organization lived through the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918 and 1919, a couple world wars, the Great Depression, our recession, Sandy, 9/11, the list goes on, and we persevered. And so I take that responsibility really, really seriously and look at it as though I've been given the opportunity for this point in time to carry the organization through its next phase of history, to start some new programs, to serve those 30,000 people a year the best I can, and to treat our staff with the utmost compassion and respect as they get out there and do really, really hard work.
What is the work that you're doing?
So I think Long Island and most other communities are facing almost some of the same problems. As a region, we've seen the community age, and that the largest growing populations in many suburban areas are people over the age of 80. And we haven't done a great job of caring for our elderly. Certainly COVID pointed that out in a very big way, but there's a lot of folks that are struggling to keep up. The children's mental health crisis is, look, it predated COVID, but COVID put a giant spotlight on some of the struggles that our kids are facing in terms of anxiety, depression, school avoidance, and everything else. And then the opioid crisis persists. I can remember us talking about this 10 years ago. And at that point, the deaths were here, and now they're here. And so we work really hard to do prevention, to enhance access to treatment, and to support people in recovery. Aside from that, we're still working on the everyday issues of housing insecurity and food insecurity and all the other things that the less fortunate in our community wrestle with a mindset that when one person in our community struggles, we all struggle just a little bit.
And, it could happen to anybody. Like homelessness can happen to anyone. Like one day we can have a job and the next day we don't. There's food insecurity, there's homelessness, and I believe, if I'm correct, when people lose hope, that's when the opioid or the drug abuse also rises. It's like, it's kind of like it's a domino effect, if you will, right? Yeah. So there's one issue, there's a crisis, and then that just goes on and on and on.
It does, and look, opioid addiction is a biomedical condition in a lot of regards, but it's also a condition of the heart and soul. And so when we see a community that sees no other choice in terms of relieving the pain or anxiety or the depression they're feeling than to turn to an external substance, and opioids work great on physical pain, they work even better on psychological pain. And that's one of the reasons why we saw them take off. And so we still continue to wrestle with epic numbers of fatalities. Look, we went through the holidays, and how many families sat around the dinner table with an empty chair because they lost a kid or a brother or a spouse? Far too many for something that's preventable. And just get this for a second. We always talk about the opioid crisis, and we've been talking about it for 10 years. More than 1 million Americans have died. Alcohol still kills more people than opioids do, though. And so as we think about the well-being of our community, we have to think about all the substances and maybe stop chasing the substance of the day and start looking at what are the root underpinnings that get people to use alcohol, that get people to use opioids, or the next drug that's going to come along. We got to stop chasing the drug of the day and get to those core issues.
I agree with you, because once we can handle it at the level before it's a crisis, more people are going to live. More people are going to have better lives. It's very scary when parents of children that I know, like too many deaths. There have been too many deaths. So opioids, what's an alternative to an opioid? If you break your leg and you get prescribed an opioid, but you're kind of like, maybe that's not for me. Are there other alternatives?
There are.
Okay.
There are. So look, part of this is over the course of the past 30 years, we haven't developed a great response to pain. There hasn't been a lot of work in this area. But opioids were originally designed for acute pain, not for chronic pain. But one of the things they found with the onset of the opioid crisis, they started studying other drugs to say, well, does ibuprofen, for example, work as well as an opioid would? Lo and behold, the answer is yes. But this notion that you're getting a super powerful opioid has a placebo effect. And for many people, they're like, oh, I don't feel any pain. It's great. That became the first line of defense rather than a second or third or fourth line of defense. There's still a role in the world for opioids. And the last thing we want is people who have acute pain suffering or people with chronic pain. There's a huge rate of suicides among people who struggle with untreated pain. And so that's not the answer either.
Okay.
And so we've gone from one extreme to the other. But right now what's happening is there's a lot of alternative drug development happening that could make a difference for people. They've changed prescribing to say, let's start with Tylenol and ramp it up from there instead of going right to opioids. And then I think we've done a better job of teaching people other ways, mindfulness, meditation, yoga, more wholesome ways of trying to address the pain.
Now, you yourself are an avid, I guess, athlete, right? You're like a triathlete, right? Have you seen when you get people involved in some of the fitness programs or education that you are making a difference through FCA? Like, what are some of the 2025 initiatives that you're coming on with?
So on the issue of physical exertion, because it really makes a difference for one of the things you might know about marathons is that there's a taper period. You train up for a marathon, you get ready, and then you basically take 2 weeks off before you do the race in order for your body to rebuild and that kind of thing. The amount of stress and anxiety I face from not being able to run every single morning is huge. It's even hard to explain. It's almost like stopping any other drug and that you go through withdrawal. We know for people that wrestle with addiction that those physical outlets, particularly if you're a young person, are absolutely vital. So are activities. With addiction, we talk about people, places, and things that get you jammed up. And so in our Thrive Recovery Centers, and we now have 3 of them across Long Island, there's a schedule of activities where there's 3 or 4 things per day that you could come and do.
Wonderful.
And whether that's yoga, whether that is writing your resume, whether that's learning about how to rebuild your relationships that might have suffered during your active addiction, we know that those activities make a difference.
So it's good to be active.
It is. It's good to be active. It's good to be involved. It's good to be engaged. And we know that connecting with other people is really, really vital to your overall mental health. And we think of ourselves as an organization. Yes, we provide services, but we're connecting communities together.
Beautiful.
Which leaves us all just a little bit stronger, happier, and healthier.
Now, one of the ways that we connected was through the Philanthropy Network,
Yes.
right? So your participation with them, what has that
It's
helped
been
your
phenomenal.
agency? Really?
Kim called me, Kim Cottage called me when she was launching this and said, what do you think? And I'm like, I love it, we're in. And so I think we were one of the first people to say yes. Kim and Liz have just done a fantastic job. And I think for us, it's, we can go to individual companies and beg them to get involved and that kind of thing, but we only have so many staff. I think what they've done is to create almost like a one-stop shopping clearinghouse for those opportunities to say, you'd be a good match for this company and vice versa. And it's been, she's introduced us to so many people and she's responsible for me being here. Although we know each other,
Yes.
She's responsible for us being here today. And so it was a wonderful idea. It came about at exactly the right time. I'm always impressed by the number of people that are willing to come out and make a difference in their own communities.
It's a cross-pollination.
Yeah.
It's different nonprofits, it's different business leaders. They're all coming together and they're like, oh, what are we doing today? Whether it's we're packing bags or we're painting rocks or we're doing this, and it's kind of, it's beautiful.
And then they can talk about the feeling they get from volunteering and helping and share that with others. I think a lot of folks are like, well, I never volunteered before. It's a pain. You got to drive there.
Make it
and
easy.
Once they do it, they're sold because it feels so darn good.
It's activity-based, once again, being active.
Yes.
So the secret to any journey, I guess, is just to take part, to participate, to be alive, to be present. Right?
Participate, and I think, and bring your whole self to it.
I love you. You're amazing. You're a good person. You're a good egg. You're a good leader. Legislation has gotten passed because of your efforts, so congratulations on that. I see you up in Albany all the time. How can the local community get involved to make a difference? What do we need to do?
So look, I think connect up with, if you have a particular cause, as you know, I'm a cancer survivor 2 times now, and do some work in that space, PSAs and some lobbying and that kind of thing. If you have something that's impacted your family or something that you feel really passionate about, you have to feel kind of passionate about it. Then you should jump into that and find a way to get involved and give something back, particularly if you're wrestling with a medical condition, or maybe as a kid you struggle with something and you're not struggling anymore. You have a family member, you know someone that overcame a challenge, get involved in that and help other people get over that hump. It makes a huge difference.
Celebrating your health, celebrating your journey, and thank you for all the lives that you're helping. You're rocking it, man. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Jeffrey Reynolds. If you want to make a difference in your community, get active, get involved, find your passion, find your it in life, and just go for it. Thanks for watching. Up next, we learn about helping people have an enviable life. Joining us now is Amy Keegan, and she is with the ACLD. Welcome to the show. How are you, Amy?
Very well, thanks. Thanks for having me.
So you've been a guest before. I've been a long-time fan of ACLD. Tell us what that group does.
So ACLD provides enviable lives for children and adults across Long Island. We help them to promote independence and to be able to pursue relationships in the community. And we have over 100 locations where we carry out our vital programming.
When I first heard about your organization, it was many years ago, and you didn't even have like the group homes or anything. So it's amazing that you have all of that in place right now. So how many participants do you have each year that you're helping and working with them?
So we work with more than 1,300 people. We've grown over the last 10 years to 49 homes. We're actually searching for our 50th home.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We are in the community. We also have 2 preschools in Bayshore. So we've just seen a huge growth in the last 10 years.
When ACLD started, it was just a group of parents, correct?
Yes.
And so tell us about those early days.
So back then, there really were no places to turn if you had a child or an adult that had a developmental disability. So a group of parents banded together to start out these vital services with something as simple as camp, summer camp for their children, and it grew into what we have today.
Day programs, all types of things, correct?
We have a day program, center-based and also community-based, where we have hub sites throughout the community that offer volunteerism to local organizations. So we partner a lot with the communities that helped us to get to where we are.
Speaking of getting to where you are, the programs that you have, like the employee, like one of the things is that ACLD actually puts people to work.
Yes.
Part of having an enviable life is that you're able to find them work and employment, and you also do training. So what are some of the, not companies that you work with, but the ways that people are out in the community now?
So we actually work with more than 100 companies on Long Island in all various stages of employment. So we might have somebody that's looking for employment opportunities but is not yet ready to take the next step. So they have to learn pre-vocational skills, or maybe they found what they really want to do but they need a little bit more support in that. So what we do is provide all of these different types of services to get them to a place where they can be more independent and find employment in the community. We also have a lot of employers in the community that haven't yet hired our folks, but are actually helping to train them in the interview process. So we go in and do mock interviews with them. And it's really great because it provides a lot of great feedback for the folks who are looking for employment.
You've also launched businesses, right? Through the years, you've had different types of things, whether it was renewable, where it was like laundry, or cooking programs, or different candles, different types of things, right?
So we, like many others, have had to look to ourselves to figure out how we can provide more opportunities for folks.
Okay.
And back, it's been probably about 8 years since Rewearable first started it, and it's a clothing collection program that provides employment for our adults. And they go out into the community. We run drives. They help to collect and sort the clothing. And it's just another way for us to provide skills for folks who maybe aren't yet ready to find find employment. But we have also had people who've done so well at Rewearable that they have found employment opportunities in the community. And that's something that we really look forward to.
You personally, Amy, what made you decide to work for nonprofits? You could, like, you have the skill sets, right? You're very brilliant, right? You could work anywhere in the whole entire world. What made your track be in the nonprofits?
I think it's really the human factor.
Okay.
I think once you have an experience and you get to work at a nonprofit like ACLD, it really kind of soaks into your whole being. It becomes a part of who you are, and it really doesn't exactly feel like work when you go to one of these agencies. It really feels like you're helping to make someone else's life a little bit better, and that in turn helps me feel good too.
I like the fundraisers too that you have in the community. I've been able to go to some of the galas that you've had, and it's just, I guess, the connection, between the people that work there and the participants, right? It just seems like you can't really tell the difference. It's all one group of ACLD.
Yes, I know you've been to our gala before, so you've seen it firsthand, where everyone's really just there to have a great time. We're there to celebrate ACLD and raise vital funds for it, but we're also there to have a good time and bring a little bit more joy and warmth into the ACLD family. And so I think it's something that you really see when you come to our events firsthand.
And I thank you for how you've helped me grow as a person over the years with opportunities to make a difference. It's been so nice, whether I'm, doing a guest speaking thing or, we're bringing the show. I love, it's one of those highlights for me in my journey that really sets itself apart in a way, right? Because I get so much from the people that come up and talk to me, right? Just fills my whole spirit with joy. Speaking of that, that's how I first learned about the Besser rooms. Because we have a Besser room here, which is an immersive experience, right? But it was the very first time I ever saw that at one of your events, where I walked into this room and there were like fish. It was like walking into an aquarium, and I'm like, what is this? And they're like, well, we have these, and you built the very first one at the ACLD. What is the immersive Besser room experience there? How do you utilize it? And you call it something special. What do you call it?
That first one is the Zen room.
The Zen room. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that Zen room there that we opened in 2021 was our very first experience with it. And it provides all of this sensory and immersive technology for the folks who attend that particular program that's focused around people with autism. And it just provides all these different experiences. We have a safari that they can drive through in a prop car. And for someone who may not be able to drive on their own, it really just gives them freedom and independence that they wouldn't know otherwise. And it became so popular at that small program that we actually fundraised the next year and brought it to our center-based program in Bethpage. And we just finished construction on our third one in Hog Hog.
Congratulations. And they are really cool.
They are.
So it does give someone the opportunity. And I also think it's good for memory, or just kind of tangible connections, if you will. Having the opportunity to go through a safari and drive through the safari, and you take a left and you get to see a giraffe, and then you turn and you get to see the zebras and things like that. They might not have that ability to drive through a safari like someone else that's typically able to do.
And the technology has grown with us through the years too. So what it looked like the first room to what it now is in the third room is something completely different. So we're very lucky to have partnered with them and to really have the opportunity to just create new opportunities for the folks that we support.
You are, like I said, you're brilliant. I see the tenacity that you have. You're a mom, you're raising your own family, you have a lot of responsibilities in the position that you have, and you always seamlessly, Amy, just have it together. So at least that's the outward appearance you give to all of us. But congratulations to you. How long have you been there now?
It'll be 10 years in June.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're a shining star. So thank you for being here with us today. And you're also part of the Philanthropy Network as well, correct?
Yes, we actually were the first site where they hosted an event to have folks come and help beautify our gardens.
Wonderful. And if there's any other organizations across the United States or even in the world and they needed to reach out to you for advice, would you be willing to give it?
Absolutely.
Love that. Thank you, Amy Keegan. Well, there you have it. If you're somebody that wants to make a difference in the world, you could reach out to Amy Keegan. And thank you for watching. Up next, we learn about big brothers and big sisters. Joining us now is Meredith, and we're going to be talking about Big Brothers and Big Sisters. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. I've been involved with that organization for a while. Totally love it. Great fashion shows, all types of wonderful things, opportunities for people that have never been able to go to like a sporting event and things like that happen because of your organization. What made you decide to onboard with them?
I've worked in the nonprofit industry for close to 18 years, so I love, working in human services. When the opportunity came along, the mission really spoke to me. It was an amazing opportunity. I've had tremendous mentors in my life, so being able to be part of a mission that helped raise funds and awareness for a cause that meant something to me, the opportunity was there, and it was just a right fit.
Have you seen over the years that the statistics show that if someone doesn't have like a great mentor, that they're going down one path, where if they participate in Big Brothers and Big Sisters, their life can be different?
Oh, absolutely. There's so much research there that shows our programming, the resources that we have, the mentorship opportunities that are part of the Big Brothers Big Sisters program absolutely change the trajectory of a child's life for the better.
How many years can someone work with one particular child?
Honestly, we have, we refer to them as bigs and littles. So there are mentors and mentees, if you hear me use that language. And when a big and a little gets matched, it could be anywhere from a year upwards to 10 plus years.
Wow.
And the relationship really goes for as long as the match is willing to stay together.
A lifetime, possibly,
yeah, it could be a
right?
lifetime. And we have matches that are in each other's weddings, at their college graduations. So it's pretty amazing the bond that's created.
Fabulous. So it's called Bigs and Littles.
Yes.
Okay. You need more bigs.
Yes.
You've got a lot of littles, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So why would someone want to take either time away from their own family? Like, what is the benefit of taking your time out to make a difference in the lives of a little?
I think people innately want to do good, and they're not really sure how to do that. Where do I start? There's so many amazing organizations on Long Island. And you think about your own life, somebody that had an impact or was a change maker, and imagine being that for a child. We make it very easy. We support you throughout the process. It is as simple as a couple of hours a month, and you could really have the opportunity to change a child's life and have this amazing connection and bond. And we'll always say that the child's life is forever changed, but really the volunteer's life is the one that's truly changed. You can really be part of something special, and it really just takes a couple of hours a month.
Okay. And what's the monetary contribution that somebody has to make to be a big?
There's absolutely no monetary contribution. It is completely voluntary. We provide a lot of resources, a lot of free events and tickets throughout the year. One thing that we really want to make sure we communicated is that there is no financial burden to become a mentor in our program. It's not meant to cost anything, and we certainly don't want anyone to feel discouraged to join our program thinking that there's a monetary cost. It's 100% free, and we provide all of those resources to make sure that it stays that way.
Hey, I think sometimes people are a little afraid because they just don't know. So I wanted to have you on the show so that we could talk about it.
Yes.
So you do have to be screened, right? Not everybody gets accepted, right? Because you need to have certain criteria in order to qualify. But if you feel like you're a good person, a good citizen,
Yes.
right? Contributing member to the community, then you would apply, right? And then what are the other steps? Is there an interview process?
Yes.
Let's take out the mystique.
Yes.
So that somebody understands what they have to do, and then they're like, yeah, I'm
Yes,
in.
I promise it's pain-free, it's simple. You can visit our website, or you can come to any one of our events, and from there you can apply to become a potential mentor. That's when the vetting process starts. There is an interview process. We don't shy away from sharing that it is a couple of hours. There is a lot of vetting that goes into it. And I always explain you're with a child one-to-one, and so you want to make sure that
You
we're
have to
doing
protect,
yes.
right, the child.
So it's very simple. You apply, somebody will interview you, and then if everything works out and we feel that you'll be the right fit, you'll get matched with a child with like interests, similarities that are somewhat geographically close to each other, that we think would really make a long-lasting bond with a child mentee. So you simply apply, and then the process starts from there.
And is there reciprocity, meaning like if I'm living in New Jersey and now I moved to California, but I was a big in one state, does it kind of work, or do you have to start the process all over?
You do have to start the process over. I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt to know that you've worked with us in the past, but we're part of a national organization, but we are very localized. We serve all of Long Island. So we have our own processes and protocol and systems that we have in place, our own curriculum that we follow. So we would encourage anyone interested to reapply through the Long Island-based program.
Okay. And then if they're out of state, they could also find their local chapter, and it's on the website, correct?
Yeah, you can
So you
go
could just go
online.
to the big website and be like, okay, I'm in Arizona. Where's my local chapter?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. That's awesome. Is there anything I didn't ask you? I'm so excited to be sitting across from you because I know all the great work that you do. I mean, there's a lot of things, whether it's like playing basketball with somebody, it's just like simple things.
Yeah.
Doesn't take a lot.
No, and
Okay.
we're a lot more than just mentorship. We offer so much programming throughout the year. We have college and career readiness programs. We have literacy programs. We give close to $85,000 in scholarship every year. We support the families during the holidays. If they're going through financial burdens, we have resources that assist with that. We have great partnerships with community organizations, so we are a really great referral base. So we always say we're more than just mentorship. That's just the core of who we are, but we're really a full circle program for families that are really in need and children that are really in need.
And if somebody doesn't have the time, but they have the treasure, they could just write a check.
Certainly,
Right.
certainly. As a fundraiser, yes,
Right.
that is something that we will always be open to.
Okay.
But there's a lot of ways to get involved. We have events, we have volunteer opportunities, we have opportunities for you to bring the kids into the workplace to show them a different environment. You can help with tutoring. There really is something for everybody. If you're interested in learning more, we encourage you to visit our website, contact me, and we'll find the right fit for what you're able to contribute.
And youth, they are our cherished treasure. They are
They're
our
our future.
They are. They
Yes.
are our future.
Yes.
Thank you, Meredith, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
If this is something you would consider, please join. If you have a child that you know is in need that could use a big brother or a big sister, reach out to your local chapter, find that connection, make a difference. Thanks for watching. Children are our future. From birth to age 22, this organization can help. Joining us now is Dr. Lenny, and we're going to be talking about family of kids with a Z. How are you today?
How are you? Thank you for having me here.
Good. There's a lot of laughter that happens in between guests, right?
There we go.
So I still have a little bit of the giggles, Dr. Lenny. What made you decide to go into this line of work?
So when I was very young, when I was in my undergraduate program at St. Joseph's College, around 19, 20 years old, I started working at a school that still exists today. It's called Developmental Disabilities Institute. I fell in love with the field. I felt like I was having a great impact. I knew this is what I wanted to do, so I wanted to do more and more in the field, and here I am today.
At that prior location, I know that they do different types of things. Like if your child's on the autism spectrum, they try to help you be verbal. They do all these types of things like with painted nails and blocks and manipulatives. Does Family of Kids also employ some of those types of strategies?
Yeah, so as an agency, we provide services across the board. So we do speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy. We have mental health and behavioral support services as well. So we provide services across the lifespan and for a wide variety of needs and learning abilities and everything. So.
Yeah, birth to 22, correct? But you have it separated into different categories. So what are those different levels of opportunity?
So basically, Family of Kids is comprised of two main entities. Kids Therapy Services is our early intervention and preschool program. So children from birth up to age 5. And then once they enter the school age program, it's called Kids Educational Services. That's our program that contracts with school districts to provide all those variety of services that I mentioned before.
Was it hard for you to open up Family of Kids? Like, what was the process
So-
when you decide, I'm going to hang them a shingle and this is what we're going to do?
No, that's a great question.
Okay.
I'm not the original founder of Kids Therapy. Kids Educational, been around for many years, since the late 90s. Gail Kligman, she was a speech pathologist, and she still sits on our board. She was the original founder. I was brought on in 2007 as a psychologist. A lot of my career was dedicated to conducting evaluations and providing what we call behavior intervention, behavior consultation services. And eventually I became a director, a vice president. Now I'm the chief executive officer.
There you go, which means that you're washing the dishes, right?
Yeah,
Because that's
right.
what I do here at the studio some days, right? But it's good to have all of that longevity, if you will, before you take on a position like you have,
for
because
sure.
you need to really learn the inner workings, right, of
That's right.
each different step.
That's right.
Okay. I was asking you also, is this something like insurance-based? Is it private pay? And you explained to me it's through a school district contract, right? So how does that work?
So the early intervention program is state funded. The preschool program is county funded. And then the school age program, we have individual contracts with school districts across Long Island, Westchester County, and we've recently expanded into Putnam, Ulster, and the surrounding counties, and as you go towards upper New York.
What successes have you seen? Like, is there like one or two stories that like just touch your heart that every day you go in and you're like, man, I'm so glad that happened?
Well, I'm very fortunate to have many, many stories. We have an amazing team. We have over 1,300 providers at this point as an organization. And so, personally speaking, my greatest examples was when I was in the field providing the behavior consultation, when I would have a student who wasn't going to be successful in the setting they're in. They were always thinking about kicking them out of the school, finding another placement. And I've had the opportunity to have several experiences in my career where we were able to make that successful, watch the child stay where they are, develop in the program, keep them included in their public school setting. Those were some of the best experiences I had as a professional.
What type of training, ongoing training, does it take? Some professions you have to always like kind of go back to school a little bit or learn the latest, greatest techniques.
Right.
What workshops do you go to or what's required for your profession?
That's a great question. So because we provide a variety of disciplines, speech, occupational therapy, physical therapy, behavioral, mental health support, each one of those disciplines have their ongoing education requirements, each one of those licenses and credentials. So they're required to take around 36 hours of continuing education courses just to stay up to speed with the latest research and the latest interventions and everything. And then we have a sector of what we call behavior technicians who aren't licensed or credentialed, but they receive a certain amount of training on how to provide behavioral support to children. And that's always an ongoing. So we embed a lot of supervision and training for our team members that have that ongoing need and everything.
Now, being that the organization is as old as it is, have you ever seen a participant grow up and then have a position helping?
Absolutely.
Isn't that the
Absolutely.
best?
So early in my career, I was able to, when I was in the school district as a school psychologist, we had a Best Buddies program where some of the general ed students would help out with the children with special needs, and we had an opportunity later in life to see those children get into the field and do their thing, and it's amazing to see. But also the children with special needs, seeing how they learn and grow and how some of them can be integrated into the workforce, and it's an amazing experience.
Well, I thank you for joining us. I always love to shine a light on people doing good things in the world. Is there anybody in particular in your past that you'd want to give a shout out to or thank you, like a mentor for yourself?
I think, I mentioned her already, Gail Kligman. She's our founder. She built all of this, and it's, she's had a major influence not just on me, but on many of the core team members we have and the core leaders we have. She had a tremendous impact on us.
Congratulations.
For sure.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lenny.
Thank you. Thank you.
You want to make a difference in the world, whatever your career choice is, this might be a good path or an avenue for you. And thank you for watching.
This is Donna Drake. Happy journeys!
Take my hand, come with me, and we'll find better ways to be something much more. Live it up, live it up, live it up now.
Thanks for watching Live It Up. You can visit us at liveituptvshow.com.